everybody, and welcome to another CineFix Now Roundtable. First, before we get into what we really want to talk about this week, the quick little update on with the Alien video that we did earlier in the week. It is now looking like Neill Blomkamp is going to just forget completely about Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, which is fascinating.
Yeah. It is, because even with Superman Returns, which is the only thing I can think of that's somewhat similar, it technically takes place between 2 and 3. Mm-hmm. It doesn't completely eliminate the existence.
There's a slot of time in there where, like, I wonder what happened in this slot of time.
When did the child die?
Yeah, there's nothing like that in the Alien franchise.
But I would say there's like a 98% sort of, you know, understanding that Alien 3 and 4 just aren't as good as Alien 1 and 2. I think there are the fringe people out there that are like, no, Alien 3 is the best, but and no one says that about Resurrection, sadly.
Because I think there's like a certain amount of people that will be like, wait, I thought, wasn't they dead? They were dead at the beginning of Alien 3. Mm-hmm. But I don't think so, though. I don't think there are those people. Like they're either going to be, they're not going to be confused by it. They're either just going to like watch a new Alien movie, and the people who do realize that Alien 3 and 4 happened are going to be happy that Alien 3 and 4 didn't happen anymore.
Alien 3 has grown on me. Like, it's not, I don't think it's great. It's not great. It's fine. I used to think it was like so bad, but it's fine. It's fine.
Upgraded to fine.
But I'm still not sad to see it go. No. It made me because the first 10 minutes of that movie erase to ever even being mattering, and so you're like, why did I just watch the other good movie to watch this?
Hey, look, if this gets Michael Biehn more work, if Michael Biehn is back in my life because of this, I'm going to be really excited.
Yeah.
Cruz, I feel like it's only grown on you because you're defending xenomorphs.
No, because Resurrection has not grown on me, and Alien vs. Predator has not grown on me, even though I have used them in arguments.
Honestly, just in editing the argument, I kind of want to go back and watch Alien vs. Predator now.
It's better than Resurrection.
There's a clip of Alien vs. Predator.
It's better than Resurrection. It's way better than Resurrection.
It is. All right. So that's that. That's a little update on the Alien thing, because that was another interesting thing. But the thing that we really want to talk about this week is what's happening with this Power Rangers short film that just exploded onto the internet. What, Monday or Tuesday? It was early in the week. As far as fan-made films go, like it's really legit, and it's not quite a fan-made film because the people that made it are professionals, and it was produced by a guy who produced, like, he was a producer on Dredd, and so like they've got.
And wasn't Dawson from Dawson's Creek?
And he wrote it.
I didn't get to watch it before it was taken down.
He was one of the writers on it.
Oh wow! I didn't get to watch it before it was taken down from both Vimeo and YouTube. I had it on my watch later, and then it poofed.
And so that's what's interesting about it, because as a film, it was pretty cool. It looked cool. It looked very professionally done. But then they're getting sued. They're getting sued, and cease and desists come flying around, and then now it's off of Vimeo. It was off of Vimeo earlier in the week, and now it's off of YouTube.
I wouldn't say they're not fans. That it's not fan-made simply because they're they're still fans.
Oh, totally.
Right? Like,
just because you know how to actually do filmmaking correctly doesn't make you incapable of being a fan of something. So it's weird to me that they've gone after them this aggressively, because I mean, typically these studios have always just looked the other way with stuff like this, because it's like, hey, like, these are the people supporting us and allowing us to have these ridiculous jobs and salaries. Let's not piss them off when they try to celebrate the very content we give them.
And that's what I find really interesting about this whole thing, is because there's always been that understanding, and there's like a fine line in there somewhere. And so for now, suddenly the producers behind Power Rangers, because they are developing a new Power Rangers film, and now suddenly like the cease and desist is coming out. And what was it about this particular movie, in this particular instance, that crossed some kind of line?
Like, why Power Rangers of all things?
Here's the thing. It's like Adi Shankar has produced these like basically once a year, right? He made the Punisher sequel with Thomas Jane in it. Machinima does superhero ones all the time.
There was another Dragon Ball.
There's a Dragon Ball that came out this week, but Adi Shankar specifically, there was one with Ryan Quanten that I don't remember what it was.
Oh, the Venom one.
The Venom one.
Yeah, that was cool.
The Venom one, that was great. And Saban has a history of being very, very, very litigious. Them specifically have a really, they've jumped around, their rights have jumped around studios. They've been very strict about contracts and things. They're just a very litigious group of people. For fair use to continue to exist, they need to be able to do that. Saban needs to have the right to be able to say, no, you know what? We don't like the way you're using our characters. Don't use them. while, you know, the team still has the ability to make their film and try to get it out there and try to hope that the producers, but at the same time, they're not making any money. Yeah. So it's not. I agree with Joseph Kahn.
It's such an over the top adaptation. It has recognizable talent in it. Yeah. At that point, you're starting to rewrite the brand.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with their decision to pull it down, especially if they're trying to get another movie going. Like, people are looking at that, and then suddenly, like, what their vision, the creators of Power Rangers, is suddenly being changed by people coming in and doing essentially Power Rangers.
Well, and I think a lot of it too might have to do with the fact that, like, because it's this real specific vision of Power Rangers, it's like such a dark and gritty thing, and then the producers look at what they're developing and like how everybody like loves this gritty version, and then they're developing like not that gritty version. They're like, this is costing us money, like because now like when ours comes out and everybody's like, no, why didn't you make it like the awesome one that was out there? Like, people aren't, like, they're not gonna see it twice, they're not gonna buy it on DVD maybe because they're like mad at it because it's not as good as this fan film. Like, I wonder how much that has to do with it.
Because they're not a bunch of drug addicts and degenerates.
Right. I would argue the opposite, though. I would say that there's an equal argument on the other side in terms of market value, in the sense that, like, something like what the team behind Power/Rangers created is arguably being seen by a more nostalgic crowd and therefore an older crowd,
whetting the appetite.
And so and so
but that's not the Power Rangers that they want to make.
No, but the Power Rangers. I mean, like, the Power Rangers that they want to make is not for those people. Yeah. The Power Rangers that they want to make is for 5 to 12-year-olds who don't have any connection with the characters. Right. They don't have no, but I'm saying,
it's not like the Power Rangers went away for 20 years and nobody did something. It's not like the Snorks. Nobody's doing shit with the Snorks.
Why not?
Like, the Power Rangers have been on TV. Yeah. Like, it is still a brand that is being used and monetized, and these people have stepped in and they've got recognizable talent, and they're rewriting the brand.
Yeah, but they're not rewriting the brand for its market audience. They're expanding into a broader audience.
It doesn't matter, though, because if I'm a parent and I'm looking at Power Rangers things, and suddenly this fan film that my kids are calling Power Rangers is out there, suddenly as the market buyer for those children, or how I allow those children to sort of focus their attention, that's changed because of that.
Really? You think that there are parents out there that are stupid enough to like, for their 13-year-old to show them...
I'm going to stop you before you finish that question, because the answer is yes.
Yeah, totally. And not just that, but, you know, there's so many... There's so many young people that are on YouTube that their parents aren't watching, and they're like, oh, the new Power Rangers thing. Why are they doing drugs and shooting people in the head?
I mean, it's not a situation of, like, are they stupid enough to... It's a situation where, like, their kid is on YouTube and he comes across a Power Rangers video and there's an orgy in it. Yeah. And then they're like, what the f***? Like, no more Power Rangers for you. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, that's 100. If I'm Saban, like, I believe that could happen.
I would say that like, for the most part, fan films, even when they significantly diverge from the original content, have had little to no impact. In fact, oftentimes have had a positive impact on revenue for the content creators, right? There are Harry Potter stories about Ron and Harry sucking each other's dicks that, like, you can find on the internet, and it's not applicable. How is that not applicable?
The point is, like, Saban, is it Saban? How do you say that? Saban? Is it, like, that doesn't mean that Saban doesn't have the right to take it down.
No. Saban totally has the right to take it down.
So all you're saying is Saban is wrong.
Yeah.
They're dicks for pulling it down. Yeah.
Well,
they're dicks for supporting their right to pull something down that they feel is negatively impacting their brand.
Yeah. Because I think they're actually negatively impacting their brand by doing it. I actually think
that is fair.
I honestly think that this film is going to have little to zero impact on the people who are going to go see a Power Rangers movie.
Well, it's got pulled. It's definitely not going to have any impact now.
Well, yeah, but it got pulled after 20 million people already saw it.
I want to go back real quick to what Trilly said, because the actual real green Power Ranger that was on the show, he basically said, you know, my problem with it isn't, you know, he did have a problem with it being violence and sexual, but was that there are, like, you know, there is a Power Rangers show right now on TV that kids are watching. Not just that, but every year I have to watch the Macy Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. I know I'm weird. I'm sorry, but the freaking Power Rangers were there, dancing around and stuff, and I was like, God, the Power Rangers are still around.
They were dancing because of all the drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, after the orgies and the drugs,
Sure.
it's time to go to the parade. So I do understand it from that point of view. But, and I also, by the way, believe that Roberto Orci might have had something to do with this too, because he is the executive producer and probably going to write the next Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie. So, and because, he had that whole debacle with Star Trek. So I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I do wonder also how much, because the filmmaker in the blurb, about the film was talking about how it's like, Power Rangers are just silly. Yeah. They're like inherently, it's stupid. So like it was like a challenge for me to make something that's that stupid and silly, like to make it like gritty and fun and cool, you know. And so like that was his attitude going into the project. Like, and I wonder how like proud he was of that fact, if that had something to do with him being like, oh really, off, take it down.
Right. If he had just been like, I'm a really big fan of this, we were really huge fans of this as kids.
This is a version of the Power Rangers I've always wanted to see.
This is a version I'd like to see as an adult.
Right.
Right? Like separating it completely from the children's show. The children's show is great, and it was. When I was a kid, I loved it. It was stupid, but
I missed the window. I was either slightly too old for it, or slightly I can't remember. But I missed it completely.
I was right on the bubble where like the first group, so like the Kimberly, Zach, Billy, that group was
Tommy.
But as soon as Tommy went away, as soon as Tommy went from Green Ranger to White Ranger back to Purple, like to wherever he was, as soon as like that class graduated from the Power Rangers, I was like, oh shit, I'm too old.
I had like a weird sort of like Voltron loyalty reaction to it. I was like, no, I was a Voltron kid. Get out of here with this crap.
Yeah, I think I was like I think I was smack dab in the target age range for Power Rangers, but I still thought it was stupid.
Yeah.
I was just like, this looks cheap, and I'm not here for that.
Yeah, I remember seeing it and like making fun of it because like I was like, how is this a thing? I
couldn't believe it.
Kids today, like that was the first time. That was probably the first moment where I was like, young people are stupid. Like I was probably like 14 when it happened.
And I was talking to kids who were like my age or slightly older, and I was just like, these kids.
Can you believe what these kids are watching?
I actually did like the movie though a lot. I mean, from a short film, fan film point of view, I love the scene. I don't know why I love it so much, but the scene where I don't know if it was the Black Ranger or which Ranger it was, but it was like running with like the Starship Trooper gun, like fired in the air.
Well, there was one shot where they were like running and looking back this way, and it was still firing.
Yeah,
exactly. It was just on auto fire, and they were just running with it. But
they're like fighting.
I mean, look, it looked cool. Like
I love the twist. James Vanderbeek was good.
He was actually good.
Katie Sackhoff was amazing.
Come on.
Katie Sackhoff was never bad.
You can put her in anything, and I'll probably watch the show, except for Lawnmower. I can't do it.
Here's the thing for me. When I heard that they were doing a Power Rangers movie, I didn't care. Now that I've seen the short film, I'm actually thinking about Power Rangers. But on the other hand, am I going to go see the movie? No.
Would you have gone to see the R-rated, the feature-length version of the short film?
Maybe.
If the short film had just been the trailer for...
I would actually consider it because it was cool.
Yeah. And it's the beak, man.
Yeah, totally.
The beak's there.
But then meanwhile, the Dragon Ball Z short film comes out. Does it didn't go quite as nuts as the Power Rangers.
And it seems to be the first of a series.
Yeah, it blew up. It blew up, decently well. And it's still hanging on. It's still around. And that's why going back to where I was sort of headed with my comment earlier about how it's not like a real fan-made, it's sort of more professional. Like the Dragon Ball one felt like a fan movie. Mm-hmm. It felt more because it's just a little lower budget. They're just texturally, it's just a little different.
Yeah.
But they
don't have real actors.
Yeah. And they're not going to run into the same problem because the live action was terrible. For those of you, I mean, I think there was like 4 people in the theater when I went to see it, and
they all left disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. And then on top of that, it's like there's the anime, of course, which is over, and they have the movies. So this was just, they're not going to run into the same issues, and not just that, but Goku is not the lead. It's Gohan and Trunks, so I think that also helps. Mm-hmm. But I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it, actually, all things considered, unknowing that it was a fan film.
At the same time, Venom has been up for like 2 years now. Yeah. Marvel has always been very supportive of the fan-made stuff. Because, like, I remember a statement from someone at Marvel that kind of echoed the statement of Joseph Kahn, the director of the Power Rangers thing, which is like, ultimately it's the sharing problem. It's the like if we're not making a profit of it, we spend our own money on this. It's not particularly different from me having like whether you disagree or not, written a short story about it or drawn Power Rangers on a piece of paper, photocopied it and given it to all of my friends. Is that illegal?
Example that he gave was like, what if I just drew a picture on a napkin and gave it to somebody?
Right.
Like,
is that illegal?
Is that illegal?
I think the answer is yes, actually, because you're using their characters, which they own.
But it's only illegal if you're making money off of it.
No, that's not true. It's still illegal. Even people just kind of turn a blind eye to it if you're not making money on it.
Mm-hmm. Even the fair use sort of loophole or whatever is just kind of it's still pretty fuzzy. Like
it is fuzzy.
So
because there's also the parody argument, right? Of the like, oh, is it parody
or commentary
or commentary? You could it's such a gray area that like yes, I could sit here and argue that like the Power Ranger reboot short is a parody because it uses like the modern cultural phenomenon of dark gritty reboots to illustrate the inherent like problems with creating children's programming about violent issues.
But at the same time, like YouTube and Vimeo are getting, they're getting letters from, production companies that are like, you need to pull this down right now, and they've got no incentive to fight that necessarily.
Right.
So.
But I wonder if someone did a fan film right now of like Spider-Man with Miles Morales as the live-action Spider-Man, if that would be an issue or not. Because like Venom, for instance, they did it once in a movie and it was a big fail. Mm-hmm. But they were going to bring out Spider-Man, and there's all this discussion.
There's still the Venom movie still on the.
But like I said, Venom, they did it once in a movie. It was a failure, and Venom is something that they are definitely considering. And by the way, it's obviously
you're talking about somebody doing a fan film right now to capitalize on the fact that Spider-Man is
coming back, and it might be Miles Morales, or and that's kind of what I wonder. Like if it's. If they would run into the same situation.
Is the biggest issue.
Yeah, because like we said, they're making this new Power Rangers movie.
Timing as well as it being too well produced.
Yeah.
I don't know though.
It has recognizable actors in it.
But so did Mortal Kombat Rebirth. Mortal Kombat Rebirth had recognizable actors in it. It's extremely well produced, and it led to not only did it lead to a really popular web series on Machinima, it arguably led to moving into production with Mortal Kombat 10 because it repopularized that franchise, which had not stopped, by the way. It had not stopped. They were already on 9. It just made it significantly more popular than it was before because it was dying down.
But live action was dead.
Live action was super dead.
Yeah, but they were still making video games.
But even the video games were dying.
But if you had made a Mortal Kombat video game, if you had matched the medium that they are in, they would have on that so fast.
I guess it's up to the production company, the copyright owners, to decide, like, do we want to be those assholes who pull everything down and risk the public perception of us being like a horrible, soulless people and we'll turn all of our fans off, or do we just let them go to town and not worry about it?
Yeah, I think for so long the internet has just been the wild, wild west when it comes to rights and IP and things like that. And now it's getting to a point where maybe the studios and production companies are just getting fed up with it, and they're not necessarily willing to look the other way if the merits and validity of this third-party content matches or exceeds their own.
Yeah.
I also
feel they're threatened by
it's competition. Yeah.
I also feel like, frankly, if they hadn't called it Power/Rangers, if they had just called it something else, but people knew it was Power Rangers, maybe it wouldn't have gotten pulled down.
Like the search play.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's like if I'm 8 and I'm searching for Power Rangers, it's going to be like, you might like this, and they're not going to know I'm 8, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome, this is so fun and cool. Oh, and then you're going to watch normal Power Rangers and be like, why did he blow his head off?
The other interesting thing is it's kind of the polar opposite. The reaction to the Power Ranger film is kind of the polar opposite to the other things that have been going on right now. If you look at the Deadpool test footage, going back to Blomkamp's Alien, all the artwork came out, and all of a sudden those are getting like moved. They're like, oh, you guys like that? Great, we'll make a movie. Hang on, we'll be right back.
That was basically fan art too.
Basically, yeah. I mean, Ryan Reynolds and the director of the film got together and they just made it on their own. And then they put it out on the internet.
They leaked it.
Which I think
someone leaked it.
Let's just ditch the air quotes and the leaked, and just say they put it on the internet. And same thing with, and I don't think Blomkamp was nearly that sort of like string pulling in what he did. He was just like, look at this cool shit. because like he got that commission that was out of his own pocket. That was fan art technically. And then they turn around and they're gonna do, he's getting to do an Alien movie and we're getting a Deadpool movie, and so it's like it's interesting that it's the complete other side of the coin, I think.
But if you also want to really get into the sneaky thing, I mean, it did come out like 2 weeks before his next movie comes out, and his next movie is not a huge studio movie because the last time he did a huge studio movie, it bombed.
It was 100% planned.
Yeah,
that's why we're losing the air quotes and calling it a leak.
Oh, I thought we left the air quotes.
No.
I thought that was for Deadpool only. Those were Deadpool air quotes.
Air quotes.
Fan films have started a couple of career. I mean, like arguably Dan Trachtenberg's career is slowly starting to really build now, but it all started with his Portal fan film from a couple of years ago that was really popular, totally unauthorized, totally.
Pixels. I mean, that movie Pixels is being made because the guy was like, I don't care about the rights of these video games. I'm just going to make this movie.
So, I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of super excited about Kung Fury.
What's Kung Fury?
Kung Fury was this amazing thing that was put out on Kickstarter that, they wanted to make enough money to, I guess, make at least a short film, which is
a trailer, basically.
Yeah, for this totally 80s parody kind of thing where this cop has to go back in time. He's a kung fu cop and he's got to go back in time to fight the ultimate villain, the Kung Fuhrer.
Kung Fuhrer.
Yeah.
Kung Fuhrer.
Doing kung fu.
Amazing. And he gets flung too far back in time. Well, they met their Kickstarter goal. They made a 30-minute movie.
Yeah.
It is coming out on YouTube, and I'm super excited because it's like these Swedish guys are awesome, and it just looks so silly, and I feel like I'm going to be laughing a lot.
I do love there is such a thing as Kung Fu Cop. I'm like, I'm with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, right?
Well, there are a million kung fu variations and there's a million Nazi variations, so it's probably about the time they met each other because there's space Nazis.
It's like Iron Sky.
Zombie Nazis.
Which as soon as you said it seemed very obvious. I'm like, God, I can't
Kung
believe I
Fuhrer.
didn't
It's like surely that's a pun that other people came up with also.
I mean,
right?
Well, Iron Sky 2 has dinosaur Nazis.
Yeah.
Dinosaur Nazis.
On a dinosaur.
I really enjoyed Iron Skies. That's
It's only 30 minutes long.
It's only going to be 30
That's
minutes.
good,
It's coming
because
out in like the next week or two.
Iron Sky, I was fascinated with. Like the trailer was like crazy, and Iron Sky 2 trailer is also crazy, but I couldn't get through the whole movie.
Oh yeah?
Because like
It's so broad and ridiculous.
I feel like had I been in a theater, I'd have had a blast with it. I tried to watch it at home by myself, I think, which is not the right environment.
Yeah.
To
Did you watch the normal cut or the director's cut?
I have no idea.
The director's cut, it's one of those cases where the director's cut is actually far better because they actually had the time to put in all of the effects and stuff that they didn't have time for the original release of it.
There's a lot of crazy coming out of Scandinavia because it's the big game, not the big game, but
It's
big
just
game.
Big Game, yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson is the president.
Yeah.
His plane crashes in Norway or something.
Or is it
And there's
is it Finland?
there's a whatever.
It might be Finland.
Yeah, it is. It's Finland. It's Finland.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It's Finland.
This is really important,
And
guys.
a little kid is like hunting the president.
No.
He's trying to save the president.
No, I've got this president.
Okay, wait. So the little kid is out doing like this rite of passage thing,
Yes.
right? And he just happens to stumble into a plot where the president's plane is shot down by probably a rogue Secret Service agent.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think is what it
Yeah.
feels like.
Yeah, and the president
And meanwhile,
is being
Jim
hunted.
Broadbent is there.
Yeah.
What?
Jim Broadbent
What?
is there. He's in Finland, and he's trying to get the president back, and nobody knows where he is, and the bad guys are going to get Samuel L. Jackson, and Samuel L. Jackson is hurt because Samuel L. Jackson is badass enough to defend himself,
Sure.
but he can't because he's hurt because his plane just crashed. And so this little, like, Hannah kid...
These are all notes
Yeah.
that Sam Jackson would give.
Yeah.
Hannah kid is like... I'm gonna kill all the deer coming for you. Stand there.
with a homemade bow that he's supposed to probably kill a bear of some kind with.
Well, someone he's wearing a backpack that's made of a giant elk head, so it's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
And,
Those Scandinavians, like they make good folk music and really up.
That being said, that movie looks absolutely fantastic.
Oh,
does.
it's so much fun.
No, that's a 3 beers drunk kind of movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like
And
Escape from New York
Done.
with a little Finnish kid.
See you guys
This is kind of minor, but it looks like Tomb Raider is actually happening. This reboot of Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is now working with MGM, and so we're going to see a new Lara Croft. And I'm pretty excited. I mean, it's an important game franchise, and I don't mind the first Tomb Raider. It's not a great movie, but I think it was an all right video game movie, and I think Angelina Jolie was perfect for the role. So I'm kind of excited that's happening.
The thing that I remember about that movie most is it happened. It was like right at the peak of like like super European, like upper crust, rich white guy villains. Yeah. Like they were all just like dark, like they were all very suave, and they were all like the anti-James Bond.
Yeah.
There was like a weird like 3 or 4 year window there where they all looked exactly the same.
It was also a really weird moment in Angelina Jolie's career because she was starting to be like really serious, and it was like, oh my god, Angelina Jolie is like an actress, and then all of a sudden it was like, and Tomb Raider,
because there was like Girl Interrupted and Tomb Raider.
But I think she understood. I think she understands this business a lot better than people give her credit for.
A lot better than we do.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, the other thing that's really funny is she's like the lead. She's like the powerful figure, powerful superhero, and her love interest in the first one is Daniel Craig
playing an American. He has to do an American accent, and she has to do a British accent, and it's really awkward.
And her love interest in the second one is Gerard Butler, way before 300. So it's kind of weird in that way too.
She's a kingmaker.
She really is. She really is.
Good for her.
And I also like the fact that, I mean, I don't think this is going to happen, but with the way video games are nowadays, there's like an actress who plays her in these new video games they came out with. I think her name is Camille Luddington. I know she was on like Grey's Anatomy and some of the.
It'd be great if she gets to play this.
Yeah, I mean that would be
It'll
cool.
probably be Dakota Johnson.
Oh gosh, no.
Well, so do you think that they're going to fully reboot it and go like back in time like they did with not back in time time travel, but back to when she started her archaeology type thing like they did in the game?
I think it's going to be based on kind of more like the new game. I think they did a really great gritty reboot. They made her a little more believable proportionally. She's more like
Never mind.
Because they just they mocapped her and they added like a little bit. They didn't add. That's not the first game where she's like 70 pixels, 2 pixels, 3 pixels.
She was young. They could grow.
I'm actually most interested to see if they get an English actress to play her because obviously
I'm interested to see if they can make a good video game movie.
Yeah, that's also true.
Well, I mean, listen, Assassin's Creed is probably going to come out before then, starring Michael Fassbender, the director of Macbeth, Marion Cotillard. So
I have hopes. I'm holding out hope for it.
Yeah.
I don't mind the first Tomb Raider. I think it's fine. Yeah. I think it fits what that franchise was at the time really well.
Yes.
I think with the new Tomb Raider video game taking itself a lot more into the the survivalist realistic spectrum as opposed to the booby adventure spectrum. I think the movie should reflect that, and I think it might end up being really cool.
The booby adventure spectrum is a pretty good spectrum to be on.
It is.
To be fair. All right. That'll do it. Let us know what you think about the booby adventure spectrum down in the comments below. And all the other stuff we talked about. What was the stuff we started with? We talked all about fan films and who should sue who and why and who's the biggest dick involved in this whole Power Rangers fiasco. Let us know what you think about all that in the comments down below. Click like and subscribe and come back next time for more movie stuff and booby adventure spectrums right here on CineFix Now.
Vote Zaphod!
Don't vote for Zaphod.
Vote for Superman.
Come on, it's
Don't vote for Superman.
It's Goku. You guys, it's Goku.
Oh man, if you have to go up against Goku, you're done.